So I think there's a need to work more systemically. There is a need to be a bit more political in terms of what we want to achieve, being a bit more intentional in dismantling patriarchy, being a bit more intentional in dismantling privilege and how that's exercised within the philanthropy space, but more importantly, dismantling power, and particularly around how it's used, how it's abused, and how it's exercised in spaces of governance. So I think we need to be targeting some of the people who make the decisions, the people who deploy the resources, because those are who end up articulating the strategy, And so how do we move that from the trigger being someone on a safari and feeling like, oh, I've seen a problem, to using it as business as usual so that we can respond to the challenging and very political spaces that we're operating in as civil society.
Right, and what would be necessary for that? So what would you need specifically?
So I think Pathways to Power is a perfect platform for activists, right? One. Secondly, for enablers and actors to actually bridge some of their different perspectives together. Because I think having a conversation can actually lead to having some form of creativity and some form of change. But more importantly, I think amplifying the voices that are considered outlier, amplifying the voices that are considered marginalized, and that wouldn't necessarily always fit the norms. Because norms and structures are bound to exclude someone. And so if we're saying we want to leave no one behind, by 2030, we have to galvanize around those who are not always heard, those who are not always seen, and safeguarding their visibility within the space. Because I think you find that so many voices are always heard and they have got different platforms, but more importantly, the need to have those who are silenced actually own and claim the space comfortably, and that they can thrive because they're the ones who are doing the work on the ground.